Welcome to Shuttered Flow. Our guest today is Sean McCormack. He's a digital tech, and Jeremy knows him very well. Sean and I just met, so I'll let Jeremy kind of introduce him.
Yeah, Sean and I worked together for years over at Turner, and then what did you have? 3 different roles there at different times?
I think just two. So digital, or it was digital tech retoucher as one role, and then came back as a photo editor.
Yeah, and then you're the photo editor, and so we worked together for a long time. We still work together. I just booked you on a job for coming up in a week, so it's going to be good. Today, we really want to talk about digital teching and what that is. Some people don't know. Some people use them all the time, and then get into some things like from a digital tech perspective, what is helpful for photographers to know to make your life easier, to not put their coffee on your cart, all the important things in life that really matter. Um, so real quick, just to start off, you and Edward never met, but in fact, you took his job when he left Turner. So you guys know some of the same people, some of the same things. But yeah, so just real quick, where did you start? How did you get into this industry to go from there?
So started photography back in high school. Got into it through skateboarding. Wasn't very good at skateboarding, so I took photos.
Nice.
I know that. I know that very well. I couldn't skate either.
But fell in love with it. Went to multiple colleges for photography. Then went into the real world and had to figure out what to do, and fell into retouching after moving to New York. Started in e-commerce. Really hated that, especially from a retouching perspective, because it's quantity over quality and it's just crank it out. Um, Proceeded through my career in that and ended up running a post-production team, and that which slowly turned into running the actual production, and then through e-commerce, and had to kind of freshen my chops on the tech side of things, running Capture One in a end-to-end fashion. Uh, so took that, started at Turner, was more present on set, and just really fell in love with being on set in a non-shooting way.
That was a fun time for us because it was like the first time that we brought, like we did a little bit with Edward, and then with you, really, it's like we worked together on so many sets, and like you were able to dig in and learn stuff about Capture One that I never knew, and it was a great opportunity to like grow together about all these things that most people don't dig deep into, which is nice.
In those years, the early 20 teens, I don't know how to call them, that's when Capture actually started to get pretty good too, because the earlier versions of Capture were not great, crashed constantly, didn't have a lot of functionality. And so around that time when you were using Capture Turner, I think that's when actually Capture got pretty good.
Yeah, and it was Capture, but also just all of the supporting gear made it so that you could actually be outside of a studio setting. So like laptops weren't really strong enough to support being outside. You really had to tether to a pro level machine, which really hindered being mobile at all.
Yeah.
And then as the years progressed up until probably 2020, it's like you started having on-site battery power that could last you 20 plus hours if you needed, and all of the wireless monitor stations, not having to run umbilical cords all over the place, things like that. So
Yeah, I haven't thought about that in a long time. That now you just tether to a laptop. That a while back there was none of that. You had a studio machine, like a pro level studio machine, and everything was just locked down in a studio. There was no on location capture.
yeah, I mean, just the accessibility of all that stuff. I mean, what laptops are doing now, back in the day, would have been probably a $50,000 or $60,000 ask out of a studio machine.
100%.
Bring back the little trash can, the little Mac trash cans. I saw someone rebuilding one recently just for fun, just to like
Nice.
like max one out because they're like, I just like the look of it on my desk.
Yeah, They looked great. They weren't the best.
No, they weren't great computers, but they looked good. So then you did a little bit, then you moved in, did some editing, roles as editor for a while, which I think is a really unique thing for what a digital tech and what you do, because you're thinking about it all the way through, which is nice that we had to do, and you do a great job of it now. It's like not just the getting the files in, looking at them, checking them. You're thinking about, oh, what about this need? What about that need? If the
Yeah,
photographer wants that, of course.
yeah. So generally, a digital tech is there to make sure everything's organized, and sometimes just not even colored, just that it is a good raw file, organized, named properly, and can be handed off, and that everybody can see everything and make selects possibly on site. That never really works. But it can go to an art director, a photo editor, everything's laid out. It makes their job easier. Everybody walks off set when taillights or the shoot is wrapped. Now I'm starting to see more. We want eyes on it, but we can't have an art director on set. It's byproduct of COVID,
Yep. That's how it
budgets,
started.
all of those things. So I'm in a kind of unique position where I'm art director junior, making a small select, if that, um, and saying, here's what works, here's what doesn't. You've given me the brief. Here's kind of a small package to help you cull things down late after.
So, quick question for you right now, since you're a freelance tech in Atlanta, are you primarily working in Atlanta, or are you finding that you're traveling for shoots as well?
Um, a little of everything. I think, as everybody knows, this last year has been slow nationwide. So
Hmm.
this year I've been traveling probably more than in the past. In the past, it's primarily been Atlanta, but mostly service all of the Southeast and occasionally up to New York or LA or wherever.
And do you find that you're shooting, are you teching mostly in studio shoots, kind of large entertainment, key art kind of style stuff, or larger commercial shoots, or are you doing a lot of location work as well?
It's kind of split evenly, especially recently, especially with entertainment moving to Europe primarily. There's not that much opportunity there. Commercial has come back in probably the last 6 months and really ramped up with kind of probably their end of year budgets and actually
Hmm.
having something left after
Yep.
being pretty conservative at the beginning of the year. So it's been primarily commercial, and that has generally been more on location or in somebody's house, kind of creating a studio feel, and then moving crew moves everywhere. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say that some photographer out there that might be listening or watch this has never used a tech. What can you explain that you would do on set for them that a assistant isn't doing, right? Or that they might not be doing for themselves if they're shooting tethered, but they're not actually watching the machine as images are coming in.
yeah. So one of the biggest things that tech provides is uh, it frees up the photographer to be able to communicate with the client. They're not having to constantly check their work. I'm eyes on if something is down or something's broken. Say a background light has blown and is no longer firing. I'm able to see it, relay that to the assistant, and they can handle it and let the photographer handle the business of photography while they're on set. So they can be shooting, but also handling the client, being face having FaceTime with the client and not running around. What's going on? What needs to be fixed? And then on top of that, making sure that everything is packaged for them and backed up in multiple places and packaged.
Yeah. And doing
Yeah.
basic things too, right? Like just checking focus, checking if things are too hot or things are blocking out too much, just depending on the shot.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's important to anytime you have a proper crew, is how I always look at it as a team. And I always love having a digital tech like you and a few others that I trust because you're seeing it and I know that you're going to tell the person. And it's like we're all working together to get one result. And as long as you have that plan ahead of time, especially like how many times have we had 5 minutes with talent? It's like everyone's
That's a
there. We got five
luxury.
minutes and we have to get this done. And it's like, there's no like, oh, we got to change this, stop down for a minute and change it. It's all on the fly, all working in tandem and moving together. So, what is your typical like base level of gear that you would bring on a set? And then what is you seeing more of that people are adding to that, extra monitors, different things? What's your base level?
I mean, it really depends on kind of what the shoot is. So if it's a studio shoot, I'll be on a cart with a monitor and a power station so that I'm essentially firewalled from possibly blowing any circuits and having things go down. Um, it's a little more expensive of a setup, so it's innovative cart, 5K monitor, uh, multiple backup, basically an on-set RAID array. Um, Everything is Thunderbolt hubs, um, wireless transmitters, so that the client can have either a monitor set up or iPads that they can walk around with if they're a little more squirrely. Um, and then that can also translate to on location. But on location, the cart doesn't always work because it's a fairly large fixture. So um, being on a tripod setup with a very minimalized version of that, it's still um, a lot of expandability, but it's all kind of tailored to the experience.
What kind of machines are you bringing on set? Are you, I mean, obviously on location, a laptop, right? But like if you're shooting in a studio, are you bringing like a desktop and running that?
Not anymore. It kind of doesn't. The cost benefit isn't really there unless you're shooting like a phase. So
Yeah.
you're shooting something 100 plus megapixels, and even then, the phase is so slow. The modern machines can keep up with it because they haven't updated really anything in a meaningful way in the last 15 years. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, let's just talk about the fact of the changes, even in the years that we've been doing this, of the speed of hard drives and computers and everything. Because in the past, and we did this, it would normally be the whole set would be broken down after the shoot. The last person to be done used to be the digital tech. And everyone was sitting around. We'd be having a wrap beer, waiting for the hard drive to download because we were dealing with pre SSD hard drives and things like that. So we would always be sitting and waiting for that to be done before you walk off set. And now I feel like you're done and can be done before the sets are broken down.
yeah, at this point, with in process backups and the ability to process while the shoot is happening to three different drives all at once, and for some photographers who like it, packaging EIPs, uh, the back end time has come down drastically. It's
Yeah.
kind of amazing.
Yeah. So what is your system for the repetitive drives? Do you use ChronoSync? There's a few different options, but what do you typically use for that?
I prefer ChronoSync just because I've been using it forever. It has its hitches, um, but you set it to intervals to back up or pause it if you're in a heavy shooting mode, and it just goes through and backs everything up, and you really don't even have to think about it. And then if there's an issue, it lets you know.
Yeah.
So,
And
Yeah.
for people that don't know, because some people I'm sure don't, ChronoSync is just a software that runs on your computer in the background. Essentially, you set it to back up multiple drives or one drive or however many you want. So you're constantly every few minutes is typically how it runs, I believe.
I do it for one drive. I'll do every half hour. Multiple drives, I'll alternate. So one drive is going every hour, and then the other is going at the half hour around that. So it's not uh, clogging up the USB port bus. This is one downside to the Apple laptops is
Yeah.
it's really one port that has three plugs. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's great because this is constantly backing everything up to you in case something goes wrong, or just helping you on that back end if you need to hand it to a client at the end of the shoot, or one to the photographer, one to the client, and then you have your backup for a while until you feel like it's good. Um, I think it's a smart way to handle stuff.
I think even for photographers who are not using a tech, it's something that they should investigate or look into if they're running capture themselves and they're tethering. Something they should probably investigate looking into, at least backing up to OneDrive while they're shooting. If anything happens, it's kind of a nice little thing to have.
inevitably something will happen and it will be devastating for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's one of those things that doesn't happen that often, but when it does, it's so bad. Like it
Yeah.
really ruins everything.
I think
You
it's
lose
only a matter of
client.
time before there's some sort of cloud solution that gets fast enough to back up to the cloud. I just don't think it's there yet for massive files.
Yeah, I mean, even just uh, wireless tethering isn't there yet,
Yeah.
which we're all praying for, but I don't think it's
I
anywhere
mean,
near the
I
horizon.
remember first testing that on the Canons, and you could do the JPEGs only, and it would work for a little while, but it never holds. And the moment you stop shooting, it's like there's a system there that could do it, but you're really just making more issues, if anything.
Yeah, and at this point, I think it would be an FCC violation to have anything that powerful.
That
And
is
then
true.
Yeah.
on commercial sets, especially now where we're always kind of piggybacking with video, um, that would create so much interference that it's just not viable.
Have you so you were talking about having like a wireless monitor set up or the iPad set up. Is Capture Call that live, right? Like that was the thing for a little bit where Capture Live. And every time I tried to use it, and this was a while ago, I would say probably 5 or 6 years ago, it just didn't work. If you tried to run Capture Live on an iPad for a selects editor, it was a nightmare. And so has that gotten better?
It has gotten a lot better. It's now called Capture Studio.
Cool.
But now they can actually see things come in live and scroll in the same native desktop as Capture without affecting what I'm seeing as the tech. It's gotten a lot better. I try not to use it.
Yeah.
I feel like that generally kind of interferes with the workflow of the photographer when the art director is able to really go back and be like, "Oh no, we need to go back
Yeah,
to this
that's
shot."
like aside from the software issues, it's more of a like issue with having a lot of people on set and making decisions as things are coming in.
Which brings
Yeah,
up a new thing that has happened since COVID, the Zoom photo shoots. And now this started off where it used to be we could have small crews go do things. I mean, God, remember you and I in Macon during a lockdown? We couldn't leave a hotel property. We had to shoot stuff, and we just had to Zoom everyone in, the whole marketing team. Um, how often are you still seeing that where no one comes and everyone's watching online and you kind of have to monitor that?
luckily I haven't had that in probably over a year now.
Okay, good.
I think because nobody pays attention to it, nobody's actually on it. It's gotten to the point where they've just stopped even thinking about asking, because it's the quality isn't great. It's you're dealing with buffers, especially in weird locations. It's like I have a Starlink set up so that I can do that or upload from remote areas if I need to, but it never gets used, and the cost of it is prohibitive.
Yeah.
It's almost cheaper to just to fly somebody in.
Yeah, I think I've only done one this year, and it was like in a studio with a Zoom, and someone couldn't be there, and it became a whole thing for a while. Like you said, too many opinions, and we had to make sure that that sound wasn't on. And how does that? We had to like you have to talk about it ahead of time. Like, how is that opinion put out to the photographer in the set from a Zoom of 12 people?
Yeah, I learned very quickly that the text Zoom link is always mute, no microphone. You're not talking to me. If it's there's always one client on set with those generally, and they have to be the point of contact for that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, really, really important question.
This is
What color
important.
cables do you use?
Variety. I've got yellow, pink, blue, black, and red.
Okay,
Wait, you have
no,
pink
no
ones?
orange cables like back in the day, right?
No orange cables. I will not use an orange cable. That was scarring.
Yeah. What is the current brand of tether cables that you are liking?
All of those colors, actually.
Yeah.
So they all now there's kind of a use case for the different cables. Area 51 is kind of who was the first one to come out after tether tools that really upped the speed and stability for the new mirrorless cameras. Um, to me, they're one of my favorite cables because they're super flexible and light, and you can get to 60 feet without a problem.
Nice.
They're expensive, obviously.
Yeah, but it's worth it. I mean, they have the built-in
Yeah.
repeaters and like everything that I have them, a couple of them right here. And actually, it's Black Friday, so I need to go on and look because this is normally a good time to buy some. They are spectacular.
The downside to the tether tools is they are fragile because they're so flexible. And as we all know, tether cables get stepped on and stomped on, run over, and whatnot. I think I've written off probably $3,000 or $4,000 worth of those cables just from somebody with hard edge shoes cutting the tether. So the other cables I like are Luna. This is LVNA cables. Um, that's a Carlos, who was formerly with DF Studio, has gone on to start his own cable company and is also a digital tech. And they are just as fast, if not faster, than the Area 51 cables, and built around supporting the GFX platform, which is hard for most of the off the shelf, if you will, cables. So they're custom sized cable ends so that the tether fits properly and you don't get port issues from tugging and all of these things. So
Yeah, which is something that most people don't think about. But yeah, when the shape of those, I've definitely ruined the port in the camera on accident, where it's like, okay, I have two R5s and like this one, don't tether with this one because the port is screwed up just from wiggling it, and it just gets moved or yanked or something. It just adjusts it just enough.
yeah, and I will say, if you're shooting tethered, buy a tether lock for your cable. You will write off a body in one shoot if you don't, or you can, and learn how to be comfortable with shooting with a cable plugged into your computer, into your camera, because it is awkward. It is something on the bottom of your camera or on your lower grip that is not comfortable being there and can ruin your week.
Yeah. And also, that's something we need to work on. You and I need to get together and design a more comfortable one?
I've been working on it.
There's not one that's like, it screws into the bottom of your camera and it's like, it's always square. So then if you go to vertical grip, it's just digging into your hand. It's a real design flaw that I'm surprised no one has come up with. And like you said, you're the other guy who worked in this industry. This is a good lesson. Digital techs and assistants know the best way to make things actually work and the workarounds and what is really needed, and always trust those people to find the right stuff that's going to do the best job for what you need.
Yeah. Part of my package is the tether locks that I think, or in my experience, are the most comfortable for people, which is this company Calypso. It's a bespoke, hand machined out of New York. Like the tether lock itself is, I think, $130 or something for a 2-ounce piece of aluminum, but it is immaculately machined and it fits the best, in my opinion, of what's on the market in somebody's hand. And it also drops into a tripod, a Manfrotto lock.
See, that's big.
Yeah. So, what would you say to photographers who haven't worked with techs a lot? Maybe they've used one a couple times. Kind of what helps you do your job better that photographers can help you do your job better, basically, besides not putting their coffee on your cart?
I have cup holders for that, so
Yeah.
that helps.
Great.
Really, I think it's kind of just like anybody. It's don't micromanage and give somebody a little bit of breathing room. Just like a photographer needs breathing room from an art director. It's like it's trust. It's really trust. You have to trust that I'm there to do the best for you. And some people, I mean, everybody has trust issues, you know. So it, let's sit and have a cup of coffee at the beginning of the day, iron it out. What do you need from me? What do I need from you? Which is really just shoot.
Mm-hmm.
um, and iron out the day, get on the same page, and get to work.
Yeah. Do you find that different personality types just work better with the tech? I mean, it's the same thing with assistants, right? Like certain personality types are on their assistants, right? They do micromanage. They could be a little ornery, but then other personality types, they're just like, I trust you, do your thing.
Yeah, and I mean, trust is always earned, you know.
Yeah.
So it's showing them, I've got it. You do your thing. Here's what where we're at. I find that the people that are generally super hands on and have to be hands on with everything have trouble working with the tech because they have their little, I've got to have it perfect deliverable color for the client. And that's not really the case for most shoots. You're just trying to get to ballpark because it's still going to go to retouching, and that's where it's going to get dialed in. I'm getting color to 95%. Post production is the last, color wise, 5%. So it's kind of being comfortable with the fact that it's not perfect.
Yeah. And it depends on the client, right? Some clients are super, super picky. They want to see something on the monitor that looks exactly what it's going to look like, but it hasn't gone through like the retouching process yet. You're seeing it in capture. It hasn't been processed out yet. There's a big difference in those files.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh,
And just ask everybody not to touch your monitors, right? I think that just goes without saying for anybody that's been on set.
I've come to terms with that. All my all of my all of my everything is monitored or labeled. Please do not touch.
Yeah.
Never. It doesn't work.
No, it's going to happen. Some art director, they're just going to
Yeah.
point and, leave fingerprints everywhere.
Yeah. So, okay. That's a fun, what other things are a big annoyance? Let's just really get into it. We all have our things, but there's obviously the cart, putting your drinks on the cart where there's computers and backups and you don't want that. Is there something else that a photographer should really not do, or just people on set in general should not do, that would make your life easier?
Don't yank cables. No, it's gonna break something. Just don't yank it. If you think it's snagged like a power cord, like leave it alone. We'll come fish it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's really it. I don't have a lot of peeves. I guess maybe other than no makeup on carts or things.
That's a good one.
That's
Yeah.
rough.
hairspray getting sprayed right by the cart. I've seen that one happen before.
That one and lipstick and concealer and whatever just in the carpet on the cart. It takes weeks to get out.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Sean. We really appreciate you coming on. We'll probably have you on again at some other time. Maybe
Yeah,
after
thanks for
you guys
having
do a
me.
shoot or something, we could do like a breakdown.
We just have fun on set. I mean, we're just going to hang out. I think we're shooting over at the AJC in their studio on the 2nd. So it's going to be a fun, easy one. Some clients we worked with before. So it's just going to be a fun hang. So
Yeah, and I mean, keeping it light on set makes everything better.
It
If
does.
everybody's high tension, high anxiety, it's never going to go well.
yeah,
100%.
music, which Sean is always good at too. Sean,
Have some good
you can trust a
playlists.
digital tech to know like the good music most of the time and let them run with some stuff. So,
Well,
I
thanks
trust.
everyone for listening.
Always helps.
All right. Thanks, Sean.